I didn't hear the nomination. A second? You may proceed to vote. Okay, that was unanimous. Mrs. Carrie Ann Poley, President, would you please raise your right hand and read the oath of office for me?
I, Carrie Ann Poley, do solemnly pledge and declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President according to my best.
Thank you.
Next, we have the election of Board Vice President. Open for nominations.
I nominate Joe Cologne.
Any other? Did you get the second?
Joe is the nominee.
Joe is the nominee. I think Aaron and Randy, it sounded like.
Please proceed to vote.
Joe
8 yes
abstained.
and 1 abstain.
I voted for myself. Next, we are opening the appointment of the district clerk for the Board of Education.
I nominate Norma Pena.
Thank you. You may proceed to vote.
That was unanimous. Thank you, Norma.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to open now the oaths of office for Joe Cologne and Norma Pena.
I, Joseph Cologne, do solemnly pledge and declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of school board member according to the best of my ability.
I, Norma Pena, do solemnly pledge and declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk according to the best of my ability.
All right, next we're going to have the oaths of office of board members. We're going to start with Brent Clark.
I, Brent Clark, solemnly pledge and declare that I will support the State of New York.
Okay, Rose Woods was sworn in earlier prior to executive session. Pat Kelly.
I, Patrick Kelly, do solemnly pledge and declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
school board member according to the best of my ability.
And next we have Randy McGregor. And Aaron Metnish. Danielle was sworn in earlier, and we have Keith Stryker. Okay. Next, we have the readoption of board policies for the 2021-2022 school year. Be it resolved, the board adopts the board policies for the 2021-2022 school year. Need a motion and a second? Motion, Joe, second, Pat. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That was unanimous. Next, are there items the board wishes pulled from the agenda? All right, moving along. Approval of consent agenda. Be it resolved, the board approves the consent agenda as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Need a motion and a second? Motion, Joe. Second, it looks like Keith. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That was unanimous. Next, no items of old business, news and other business. Board member service on board committees. Be it resolved, the following board members agree to serve on the following board committees for the 2021-2022 school year. Audit committee, I think it's been me, you, and Aaron.
Sometimes
I'm fine. Anybody else interested?
we're allowed up to four.
Four. Okay, that's gonna stay the same, Norma. Building committee. I think we need 4 members. I don't think we've had anybody on the building committee for last year.
Okay.
We have Brent, Joe, Keith, and Randy. Keith is a good choice. Policies Handbook Committee. I believe that was Aaron, Randy, Brent, and Joe. Anybody? Stay? Technology Committee. Did we have? In limbo, was it? We should just appoint and see what happens with the building project. So Danielle is shaking her head, yes. So Danielle, Joe, anybody else? Brent? All right, Wellness and Safety Committee. Norma, who was on that last time, do you recall?
I was.
I'll do that. And Rose will do that. Anybody else interested? And Danielle is shaking her head, yes. So Danielle, Rose, Joe, and myself. We have to do anything with that, or we're good to go? We have to vote on that? Okay, I need a motion and a second. Motion, Joe. Second, Aaron. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Election of board members to the Executive Committee on Sullivan County School Boards Association, member and alternate. I believe I was the member and Joe was the alternate, or Aaron was the alternate. So I would be the member, Joe would be the alternate. Any discussion? Need a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion, Pat. Second, Aaron. It's hard to see, guys. Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Election of board member as legislative liaison for the 2021 NYSBA annual convention. That was Joe and Aaron, I believe. All right, Joe. Any discussion? Need a motion and a second?
Just to be clear, it's
This
one
is for
person
the
or two?
one. This was person
so it's just Joe.
and an alternate. Right, the second. Okay. So, did you get the first and the second, Norma?
Good.
Danielle. So it was Pat and Danielle.
But I had a question.
question.
So the liaison for the annual convention, Joe, then we're getting voting delegate alternate. That's where that's the next.
Right. All right, please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Election of board member as voting delegate and alternate for the 2021 NYSBA annual convention. Anyone interested? Anybody else interested in the alternate? Aaron met. All right, so Aaron will take that as alternate for the voting delegate. So we need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion, Pat. Second, Joe. Discussion? No. Please proceed to vote. That was unanimous. Next, we have the standard workday resolution for employees, Form RS 2418. Be it resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District location code 74812 hereby establishes the following as standard work days for its employees and will report days worked to New York State Local Employees Retirement System based on the timekeeping system or the record of activities maintained and submitted by these members of the clerk to this body. Account clerk 7.5 hours, typist 7.5 hours, cleaner 7.5 hours, maintenance 7.5 hours, land technician 7.5 hours, receptionist 7.5 hours, student services liaison 7.5 hours, confidential secretary 7.5 hours, teacher aide 6.5 hours, teacher aide 6.75 hours, teacher aide 7 hours, teacher aide 7.5 hours, courier 7.5 hours, and school monitor 6 hours per day, and school monitor 5.5 hours per day. Need a motion and a second. Motion, Joe.
Second.
Second, Randy. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Next, we have the standard workday resolution for appointed officials, district clerk, and treasurer, Form RS 2417-A. Be it resolved that the Tri-Valley Central School District location code 74812 hereby establishes the following as standard work days for its employees and will report days worked to New York State and Local Employees Retirement System based on the timekeeping system or the record of activities maintained and submitted by these members to the clerk of this body. District clerk 8 hours and treasurer 8 hours. Need a motion and a second? Motion Brent, second Randy. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is also unanimous. Next, we have amended and restated municipal cooperation agreement for workers' compensation benefits, Sullivan County School Workers' Compensation Consortium, July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2022. Be it resolved, the board agrees to participate in the annual amended and restated municipal cooperation agreement for workers' compensation benefits as a member of the Sullivan County School Workers' Compensation Consortium for the period of July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2022, as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Need a motion and a second? Motion Joe. Second Pat. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. All right, this time we're going to adjourn the reorganizational meeting. And you need, what, 5 minutes to reset, Norma, or you're good to go? Okay. We have motion and a second? Motion Joe. Second Randy. I'm assuming no items for discussion, so please proceed to vote. Okay, that is unanimous. Guys, regular meeting.
You're gonna have to refresh.
You have to, yeah, go out and in. Aaron, are you in? Danielle, are you in? Keith, are you in? Okay. All right, moving right along to the regular meeting. We have no items of correspondence. Public comment session for items that are on tonight's agenda. Anybody sign in to speak? Okay, presentation and guests. We do not have any guests or presentations. We're going to move on to, are there items that the board wishes pulled from tonight's consent agenda? I need a motion and a second. Motion Pat, second Joe. Any discussion? All right, please proceed to vote. All right, that is unanimous. We have two walk-on resolutions that I need to read. Norma, we would have to do this by hand vote, or we would, hand vote, okay. Appointment tenure track math teacher, Mr. Nicholas Pact. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education approves the appointment of Nicholas Pact to a 4-year probationary term as math teacher in the tenure area of mathematics commencing September 1, 2021, provided that, except to the extent required by law, in order to grant tenure, you shall have received composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Educational Law, Section 3012C or 3012D, of either effective or highly effective in the last 3 of the 4 preceding years, and if you receive an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, you shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. The salary for the 2021-2022 school year will be at step 1, $50,728, as per the current Tri-Valley Teachers Association contract. As per the contract, additional salary for master's degree and credit hours will be reviewed for approval. Nicholas Pack holds emergency COVID-19 certification in mathematics 7 through 12, valid through August 31, 2023. I need a motion and a second. Motion, Joe. Second, Randy. Any discussion?
Bob, could you explain what the emergency certification was COVID?
Because of turmoil at that education department, the inability to do the Ed PPA, which is part of the video, and a lot of the component testing. They weren't able to administer them, but many individuals over the past 18 months have completed all other requirements. So they have a conditional certification that is effective for, I believe, September 2022, that they can be employed and teach under as they work towards completing those other requirements as they become available. Understanding is, if they don't start the testing protocols and get back up to speed, they will probably extend that even further, because it was originally only this September, now it's September 20.
Thank you. Okay, please proceed to vote by raising your right hand. Yes? That is unanimous. I have another appointment for tenure track ESL teacher Diana Mendez. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education approves the appointment of Diana Mendez to a 4-year probationary term as an ESL teacher commencing September 1, 2021, provided that, except to the extent required by law, in order to grant tenure, you shall have received composite or overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to Educational Law 3012C or 3012D of either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years. And if you receive an ineffective composite or overall rating in the final year of the probationary period, you shall not be eligible for tenure at that time. The salary for the 2021-2022 school year will be step 3, $54,937 as the current TVTA contract. As per contract, additional salary for master's degree and credit hours will be reviewed for approval. Diana Mendez holds initial New York State certification in English to speakers of other languages, valid June 19th, 2019 through August 31st, 2024. I need a motion and a second. Motion, Joe. Second, Keith. Please, any discussion? Please proceed to vote yes by raising your right hand. That is unanimous.
Why they're here?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next, board committee reports. Code of Conduct 2021-2022 and Code of Conduct brochure for 2021-2022. This is a first reading for both documents. The board should take a couple moments to read through both attachments in the agenda. It'll be on the next board meeting for approval.
Are there any changes?
There's a couple cleanup of the language to conform with legal requirements, but other than that, it's pretty much standard from last year. Is that correct, Mr. Pulley and Mrs. Williams? Okay. All right, old business. We have no items of old business. Public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. Has anybody signed in to speak? Okay, announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. Mr. Pulley, do you have any announcements or reminders? I skipped Deb. Ms. Kelly, do you have any updates, absent reminders, or events? Excellent. Ms. Williams? Mrs. Cornish? Ms. Toomey or Mr. Lamar? Yeah, it looks good. Starting to look good. Any other announcements, reminders, or upcoming events? All right, thank you. New business. We have a memorandum of understanding for Tri-Valley Central School District and the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment for July 1st, 2021 through June 30, 2024. Be it resolved, the board approves the memorandum of understanding between the Tri-Valley Central School District and Mrs. Deborah Kelly, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment for a period July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2024. Need a motion and a second? Motion, Joe.
Second.
Second, I see Pat. It's so hard to see, guys. I apologize. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Next, we have the funding for reserve accounts. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools that the Board of Education approves the funding of the following reserve accounts with unrestricted fund balance from the 2020-2021 school year as below. Insurance reserve up to $1.725 million, repair reserve up to $350,000, and EBLAR reserve up to $500,000. Anybody have any questions for Bob? Okay, I need a motion and a second. Motion, Joe.
Second.
Second, Pat. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote. Okay, that is unanimous. At this time, there is no need to go into an executive session, so I need a motion and a second. Motion, Pat. That was a lot of people at the same time. Second, Randy. I'm assuming no discussion. Please proceed to vote. That is unanimous. Have a very lovely evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out.